Important! If you're watching this video and you're already a fan of mine, please click that bell. YouTube has been screwing me over in the algorithm. It's been screwing over a bunch of my friends too. It's not just me. So I need you guys to show up and watch the videos, especially when they release. Otherwise, I kind of can't keep doing this, I guess. But if you are already a fan, click that bell, and I love you. Just a couple things before we get into the video. First, for those of you who watch my live streams, it appears as though my internet is fixed. So I will be doing regular Song Suggestion Friday live streams again without interruption, and also we'll be doing a makeup stream next week. And last, SE Electronics was cool enough to send me a microphone that I actually helped give them feedback on, no pun intended, while they were developing it. It's called the Dynacaster. They're trying to market it towards influencers, but it has many other applications. That's what I'm using right now, and I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about it. I like it so far. Without further ado, Jordan Peterson, the infamous, controversial Jordan Peterson, released a song. My heart is aflutter with anticipation. Let's get into it. Full disclosure, if it wasn't already obvious from a bunch of the content and advice I give on this channel, yes, I do like Jordan Peterson's work, just so we understand the biases up front. A lot of people were very confused by this Jordan Peterson song. My one friend, who is an awesome musician, described it as aggressively mediocre. I was a little disappointed it wasn't worse, but also equally disappointed it wasn't better, if that makes any sense. It would be so much fun to be able to just roast the absolute shit out of it. But it's really not nearly bad enough to deserve such a thorough roasting. Now, before we jump into the actual song itself, I think it's a good idea to set up some context because it'll help all of us understand better some of the choices that were made here. So I have a funny feeling Jordan Peterson is pretty self-conscious of this whole enterprise. You can see here on his guest spot on Rogan that Joe asks him to play a clip of the music, and Jordan kind of dies a little bit inside right on screen.
Oh, I've been writing a bunch of music. We recorded a bunch of music. Oh. 5 songs.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, with music. No, I do character voices.
Character voices?
I wouldn't call it singing.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Wanna play some
the
of it?
music.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The music.
So the music was inspired by some dark poems. He calls them dark comedy poems that he compiled into a book called The ABCs of Childhood Tragedy.
I get drunk before
I wrote these books called An ABC of Childhood Tragedy.
Oh boy.
And they're really dark poems. 26 of them. No, definitely not.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely 100%, decidedly, thoroughly, comprehensively not for children. Right, they're very dark.
You can tell he's embarrassed by his work.
So I sent her these terrible poems I wrote that are comical and horrible.
But you can also tell, like, for any other person, this was an outlet for him during his recovery when he was having trouble with the opiates.
So this is what you were doing when you were recovering from this sickness?
Yeah. It was great because it really worked out nicely because when I was so ill, I had something to look forward to because I knew Yulia was going to send me a beautiful image. And when I was really sick in January and trying to figure out what I could do, Tammy said, "You remember those poems you wrote?" And they're the sort of poems you read. They're like 4 stanzas long. You read them and you laugh and then you hate yourself for laughing. And I wrote them when I was in the midst of pretty intense clinical experiences, I'm not sure exactly why, to blow off some steam, but there was more to it than that, and I don't know all of what it is.
I didn't really pick up on this genre or flavor of an aesthetic style when I listened to it, but this is how Jordan Peterson sees it.
I'm kind of working at the juncture between black comedy and beauty. It's a weird space.
The reason why they took these poems and decided to make them into songs was as a form of marketing. How do we get this message out here in a more palatable way that's not just a compilation of little snippets?
Well, it'd be fun to figure out how to market this, which is just communication. Well, why don't we write some music? And so it turns out I can write verse.
For those wondering, Jordan Peterson wrote very little of the music. He wrote the lyrics, which are these poems, and hired out musicians in order to compose, arrange, and perform the rest of the pieces.
Then I started working with this musician, Marshall Tully, who I really like and who's a good arranger and he can play all sorts of instruments and he's got a great musical sense. And so we started working on music together. So he'd write the music and I wrote some of it, but he wrote most of it and he played almost all of it. And we had a band involved for one part, and we'll do that some more. And so he'd write the music and then I'd write the lyrics. And then I'd send them, and then we'd record it. I'd send the music and lyrics to Yulia and she'd generate a bunch of images. And so then we made a bunch of videos out of it, set to music, which we'll release on YouTube in like fall of this year. And you know, that was part of marketing for the book, but then it turned into its own complete enterprise. And so we're going to put out an album of all these songs. And
so when he released this song, he mentioned something about this song being written for Trudeau. And I don't think that's really the case. I think that in his mind, he thinks it very much applies to him and the meaning of the lyrics can apply in the same way to Trudeau. My guess is that this is one of the many songs that he already had done and it felt inspired for him to release it now because of all the crap that's going on in Ottawa. All in all, it really seems more to me like he's doing this as an outlet because it's fun, not because he's trying to be a very serious artist or musician. I'm not gonna down a guy for needing some therapy in one of the darkest, maybe the darkest time of his life. Now, whether or not you should release that art, that's a different question. I always believe art is better when it's shared versus when it's kept exclusive, like I talked about in my NFT videos and multiple other videos. So good on Jordan Peterson for having the balls to actually release this stuff. That's not easy for anyone ever. Oh, and then there's this.
So that
So
helped
fun.
you, just having some sort of a creative expression.
Oh, yeah.
Helped you.
yeah, it helped a lot.
How long did it take you to recover from the benzos?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Joe, what the fuck is that segue, man? You just ruined that man's heart. All right, so without further ado, let's actually hop into it now. Let's take a listen. Okay, just right off the top, I love the dissonance between the piano notes right there. I love the spread of the voicings they have. I get what they're going for with the guitar tone. It's a simple, I'm pretty sure just a power chord arpeggiation. I get using a kind of rotary effect. It's either a heavy chorus or a flanger. I'm not 100% sure which. It's a dark, heavy, kind of ominous intro. I like it. Texturally works for me. Love the thick drums on the transition.
You're so alone. You should be doing so. You could have.
I hate it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I hate it. All right, so we're chilling on tonic, which is a C, and then he just decides to go to the 4, and it seems like it's supposed to be a major 4. Maybe they're trying to confuse us as to whether or not this is in major or minor, because so far everything's been very neutral.
What are the sweets you sung?
I cannot with that voice though. I can't. I don't like the timbre. I don't like the rhythm. I don't like the quasi staccato nature of the delivery. It all just like wants to rip me apart. Now, with the context that this is supposed to be stories of childhood tragedy, the ABCs of childhood tragedy. With that as our context, it makes sense to me why they would want it to be kind of more child-oriented in the delivery, like how you would deliver a childhood sing-along song, something they can easily follow, something in a high-pitched voice, which actually there is something to how adults have naturally, through evolution, raised the pitch and register of their voice, their prosody, actually is the proper term for it, when speaking to children or speaking to smaller creatures that we interpret to be more childlike. And I think that's what he's going for here with this delivery, but I still hate it.
That love you're so alone. You should be doing so. You could have built a home, but now you're on your own. You should be acting well.
On the face value of the message of the lyrics, sure, but it's so anti-lyrical is the best way I would put it. Maybe it can work okay as and then maybe not. They're definitely not the most poetically lyrical words I can think of, and I think that also adds to a bit of the awkwardness of the whole thing, lyrically speaking. And this is when you're like, Roger Waters, what are you doing in this song? So going with the Pink Floyd-esque vision here, which I imagine if they're thinking of childhood tragedy, I mean, the first thing I would think of is The Wall, even though this has a bit more of a taste of the final cut to me from the actual timbral vibe going on. I will say the vocal production and layering was pretty smart. They had these little details of these backing kind of like, well, I guess like Jordan Peterson described it, character voices to kind of add a little spice, a little personality to it, instead of just this dude doing a mock-up of Roger Waters' vocal delivery. Which I'm pretty sure at the very last up there, they getting like fucking like they have like the fucking in The Wall. It was one of the fucking characters. It wasn't the judge. It was like one of the fucking. But it sounds like one of those voices. I'm pretty sure that's Jordan Peterson. Right here. I'm pretty sure it's Jordan Peterson. 4. 1. 5. Inversion. 1. If you're gonna go with that chord progression, you better fucking sell it, man. I don't know if it fully sold me. All in all, I feel like that could be an okay pre-chorus, waiting for like the big boom moment, the big wide open moment, the climax, the culmination of the chorus. I don't love that the piano is just doing eighth notes straight on the bump, 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 bump. That's tough to sell to me, man. Just overall, I would say the instrumentation doesn't blow me away a whole lot, and I'd say it's sad. It disappoints me a little bit. Feels just a hair boilerplate to me. It doesn't feel like anyone really went out on a limb here. It all feels like just close enough to be like, oh, that's a song. I will say overall, the production is actually quite good on this. That dun 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 dun. Now that he's taken some of the body away and really pushed the mids on that guitar tone, sits really cool. It's almost like sitar adjacent. Very fuzz forward. I think Gibson. That sounds like a Gibson to my ears. I'm assuming this is supposed to be his interpretation of David Gilmour. Okay. So, in my opinion, he's doing too much of the bend, smack, 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 the top of the bend a few times. I think he does a little bit too much of that myself. All in all, I'd give the guitar solo a B-. It's an interesting tone. I feel like the performance doesn't fully capitalize on the fuzz and octaver thing kind of going on here. I feel like it could have been driven even harder and really dug into how gritty and gross that tone is. It's a decent blues solo. It's an adequate blues solo. Yeah, I don't know if going into, I think that was Dorian. I don't think that was the greatest decision. Okay, the ending note going up there, making it real nice on delivery. No, Yeah, that was a nice touch. I'll give him that.
I don't know where to go. I don't know where to turn.
These voicings here are pretty cool. They're nice and dark. Again, very reminiscent of Pink Floyd. I'm missing the comedy portion of this. Very much missing the comedy portion of any of this. The actual vocal performance here, keeping it really low, gritty, I think matches the lyrics here well and addresses the fucking darkness of that piano part from the beginning that I really like. It's like bright and innocent in timbre like you would expect from childhood, but there's just this fucking crazy dissonance. But you also get the spread voicing that doesn't have that super harsh crunch. So it's almost like something that seems pretty, but is also kind of fucked up at the same time.
I don't know where to go. I don't know where to turn. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to turn.
Sure, pick things. Sure. Swell. This ending is great. I love the delivery of those vocals, the kind of female, like, older mom, like teacher school type. Wake up. The freaking warmth in that timbre with the hauntingness of the whole thing. And then the freaking dude, wake up, wake up. The freaking like the demon or whatever it's supposed to be. Really like the ending. Overall, I would say musically it's a little disappointing. I would also say lyrically, I would expect something a little bit more elegant, honestly. Now, again, keeping in mind, this is his therapy while he was recovering from something he should have fucking died from. Trying not to be a total asshole here. But I'm also not gonna take it easy on you. It's not bad. In all honesty, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Which puts it in this really weird space. It did have some cool moments, which is more than what a lot of people can say for their first release of any music. And I think you can also add that up to the expertise of Marshall Tully doing his whole thing. I'm not sure where Jordan found this Marshall Tully guy, but I would assume he probably found it from his son. Apparently his son released some music here, and Marshall Tully did Ebo on this song, whatever the hell that means.
Looking at your face, a hint at how we lost our way.
There's something kind of cool about it, actually. It reminds me a little bit of Steven Wilson. But anyway, I'm assuming that you found this dude through your son since they worked together before. If you want some badass musicians and producers to work on anything with, give me a call, shoot me an email, please. I would be thrilled. I mean, shit, I can contribute. And even if you don't want me to contribute, I can connect you to multiple people who would love to. I know several people who would die to contribute. I live in Nashville, so it's not like you're not gonna be here. Anyway, so those are my thoughts. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the new Jordan Peterson song. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, hit like, leave a comment. Please do click that bell, subscribe. If you want to help me keep making videos, you can support me on Subscribestar. Link to that is in the description down below. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Become the Night. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Rock on.